If it was as simple as painting the life that you wanted, what would it look like? What would you paint? Maybe it is. Welcome to Wandering the Wild Mess with Heather Morgan. I am so happy that you're here. All right. I know that may feel like, I hope you got a visual of painting your life because I know that this is all about letting go of what you thought it should look like and embracing what it is. But I think a key piece that I wanted to share with y'all is the mindset of really creating the life that you want to live. And sometimes that doesn't mean changing the past, but embracing what could be and not letting the past dictate what continues to be your future. So I was thinking about something that I want to share that probably I feel like may hit home in this concept for me. And as you know, if you've been following along, I've done just so much reading and inner work and really just trying to understand like how I create a life that I want to live after really giving up and leaving the one that I manufactured. And I thought it was the right one. And a couple of things I'll start with is why I bring up paying the life that you want to have is I realize in looking back at my life and the one that I left and the one that I created, it was a painting worth hanging on the wall in a lot of ways. And I truly was painting it to be what I wanted it to be in a lot of ways, the things that I could control, right? Get the good job, get the promotion, do these things. But I also realized I was painting it to put it on the wall for everyone else. It wasn't really the picture of my life I wanted to paint. It was almost as if it was the painting I wanted everyone else to see and admire and think it was great. But if it was left up to me, that's not how it would have been painted at all. And until I finally took that painting down and stared at a blank canvas, that's when I realized that now it's my canvas to paint, and I am not going to paint it with anyone else's thoughts or opinions in mind. I'm going to paint it the way that I want it to look, because at the end of the day, I'm the only one that's going to stare at this painting day after day. It's hanging in my home for me to see, a reminder of what I want in my life. And I don't think you can admire a painting that you painted for everyone else the same way you can admire the painting that you chose. And you know what? Someone might come to your home and see that painting, and they might not like it at all. But as long as you like it and you love it, it's your home to view it. They don't have to they don't have to look. They don't have to see it, and they don't have to stay. And that feels so hard for someone that used to really put so much emphasis on pleasing other people or worrying about what other people think. It was just part of it for me. And until I really decided to let that piece go, I realized, gosh, it's freeing. Why was I worried about painting a painting for everyone else to see when they would only see it like a sliver of a time? Like, how many people are over staring at the painting at your wall? You're the one that has to see it day in and day out. You're the one that has to live with it, but yet you're doing it for everyone else. Why? So I challenge you here is to look at what parts of your life did you paint for other people? And maybe let's paint those over. Because as much as life is about giving your so much to other people in ways that truly the way you give the most to other people is loving and owning who you are, because it's such a brightness when you're truly happy. And I say this is for everyone, right? Like, this is men and women. Like, nothing is more appealing and attractive, I think, in life than someone that just completely, authentically owns who they are. And I don't mean like in this arrogant, like, "Ah, I know who I am, I'm better than you" kind of egotistical way. I just mean it in like, I'm comfortable with who I am. So, like, have you ever met someone where you're like, you challenge something, you're like, oh, I don't really like that song. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I mean, it's one of my favorites. And they just move on with it. And it's not like this, what, like what I like, what, man, like making it a big deal. They're not like trying to prove anything. It's not like they're not wrapped up in it. They're just confidently like, I love it. Good for you. Like, and it's that simple. And I feel like the people like that, when you meet them, you're almost like, whoa, because that's such a place of like just owning yourself and just being like, I love it. It's fine if you don't. And it's the same thought of the painting on your wall. Someone comes over, what kind of painting is that? Oh, it's my favorite painting. I love it. It's great. And they're like, oh, I don't even like it. It's like, oh, that's fine. It's not for everyone. And you move on. And I don't know what ever got in our minds thinking that anything that we're doing is so that other people could approve. Because we're never going to get approval from everyone. I think about that even as you know, I try to speak like very kindly around the things that are in my life, but I realize that even then I'm not going to be able to say the exact things that people think are relevant or want to hear, because I'm not meant to say it for everyone. I'm meant to say it for the people that are supposed to hear it. So back to the painting, as I digress, I was thinking about this, which I think this is a really good thought when you're thinking about your life and painting the picture that you want it to be. And I think we all have things that we want in our life that we want to see, whether that's like a promotion, a person, finding love again, um, all of those things, getting acceptance from friends. There's all those things. But I feel like when we really focus on like, well, what do we want outside of how it will appear to others? Because sometimes I think we even want material things in our life because we think that that will like increase our status or add something. But if that's really why you want it, then we're still kind of painting the picture for someone else. So other people are like, oh, look at them. They have this, they have that. Again, you got to ask yourself, am I painting this picture, this life for me or for other people to approve or accept or think highly of? Because none of those will get you happiness. And this is coming from someone who did a lot of just that, right? I was leaning into things that weren't really that important to me, but I thought would make the appearance of my life better or more ideal. And I don't really, that wasn't me. It just didn't fit what I wanted. And so that's why it's no longer who I'm striving to be or what I want to do or what I go for. And don't get me wrong, like everyone's going to have different things and different reasons for what they want from their life. But think about it sometimes, is this really something that I want, or is this something that I want from an appearance perspective? Like I think about it, and because sometimes material things. Like part of me is like, I really want like a new, bigger SUV that I can take camping all the time, like more like outdoors in the mountains, right? But before I moved here, I had a BMW. And I was like, that wasn't really like me. But that appearance probably seemed a certain way and it fit me, or like fit the life that I was trying to portray. But it wasn't like functional for me. Not that it wasn't a great car, not that I loved it, and not that I all the things. But the point is like, was it to show a status, or was it because what I wanted? And not saying like, oh my gosh, the BMW is such a status, but it's just, it gives a different image. And some people want that, right? That's the image they want. But I personally that was more driven from my ex-husband than it was from me, right? So now that I'm here, I didn't want a BMW. So, because it's not what I really wanted. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like in life, when we can stop and say, like, is this new job? Is this thing that I'm going to, is this for me or other people? Because sometimes we say yes to commitments because we're like, well, I've known them a long time. I should go, blah, 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 blah. But I don't really want to go. So you're not really doing it for you. And I'm in this new phase, and I think you should be too, is doing things for you, not just for appearances, not just to keep up. Really ask yourself, is this what I want? Because the more you do things that you want to do every single day and say no or not go after the things you don't truly want, the more simplistic your life gets and the easier things just flow in and out perfectly because you're really in alignment with what you want your life to be. Because truly, whether you paint it or not, there is a picture in your subconscious mind that's going through and it knows what you want. So when you do things that are outside of that, what you truly desire from your life, whether you want to admit it or not, you can feel that it just isn't the right move for you. And oftentimes we numb so we don't feel it that much. And I definitely understand. Oftentimes we give ourselves grace, which as we should, for doing things that really aren't in alignment with what we want from our life. But I think the best things you can do for yourself is to ask, if you were asked to paint your life, would this be something you'd want to paint? Would you want that to be? It's almost like this big picture at the end of your life, like over your like what burial what casket and it's like all of the things and what would be up there? Like what would you want to show? What would give meaning to you? And I know it's different from everyone, so no judgment. Like there's no perfect picture. Everyone has their own. That's what's so great about life and art and everything is everything's unique to all of us. And if we all just wanted the same picture because that's what everyone's told us our picture should look like, what's the fun in that? I'll tell you one thing that I was thinking about that I think will maybe really help and why I feel like visualizing and painting and writing down the life you want is so key. Because when you know what you want to see in life and in any part of your life, it gets reflected back to you. I believe that. And I'll give you an example of kind of how it works. And this has been like talked about and which I've already known in all my readings, but this has kind of came up. So if you haven't heard it, you should. So basically like one way to word it that I've heard recently is how our life's like an algorithm. So the more of the things that you're looking at, then the algorithm, like let's say on your social media, shows you more of those things, right? So if you're always looking at trucks, your For You page will be like a whole bunch of trucks. If you're always looking at hairdos, you know what, so on and so forth. You get the drift. That's what it is because the algorithm is going, okay, this person seems interested in this. So they continue to look at this and this and this. Basically, almost if I would never, I don't know, but I was just having this thought that if you wanted to really see what someone spends their time on social media, it'd be like, hey, pull up your For You page. And that'll tell you. So, anyhow, so that's just a peek into someone's mind without being in their mind, to tell you the truth. But what I would say is that that is how life works. It's the same idea as that if you Google, show me, or like, show me jump ropes, you expect to see jump ropes. You're not expecting to see like roller coasters. You're going to see jump ropes because you asked to see that. That's what you're thinking. That's what you're asking to see. That's the same thing in your life. So when you're like spending your day like, oh my gosh, like gas is so expensive, then every time you go and get gas, it's getting more expensive because that's all you see. It's the same concept as like when you think about a red car, you see a million red cars. All of this is like very elementary mindset. But although we know it in theory, why do we not take the applications of that truth into our day to day life so that we can give ourselves a more positive experience in our living? We know this, yet we say, oh, well, there's no good men out there. All men are bad. Oh, all women are crazy. Everyone, there's no hope. Oh, I can never get that job. Like, I couldn't even, I don't know. Oh my gosh, every time I see my family, it's a tragedy. And we continue to tell that. And it's almost like you type that into Google, show me how it's such a tragedy every time I hang out with my family. And it's going to pop up tragedies when you see your family. And if you say like all men are crap, then you like Google that. It's like crabby men. Here you are, like presented right into my life. Great, this will be fun. And so I know that sounds. Hopefully, it makes clear sense to you. But really, that is life. You are getting back what you put out there with your mind. So when you walk into a room and you're like, I am like so confident and this is just going to be the greatest night ever and I'm so happy and everything's just going to like work out perfectly. If you truly believe that, I tell you, you're going to have a night. And I've had many of those times where I'm literally just walking into a room and thinking that. And that's what happens because that's what I typed into Google to see, right? So that's what's presenting because I'm already that I typed that in. That's what's coming to me. And I hope this makes sense to you and you're not like this crazy girl, but I really want to remind you that there's just so much power in your thoughts and your words and how you show up in places. And it really is just allowing you to paint your life however you want. And the great thing is when you're painting it the way you want, you're not really thinking about what everyone else is thinking, right? You're not like, oh, well, what are they thinking of me? Because you've already been like, this is it. Like this is where it is. This is what it is. So you've quieted the noise of any other outside. It's going to be like this or that. You just shh, and it's you in the moment, doing you, being happy, all the things. And it's just such an amazing feeling. And I want to tell you that in my messy time, I still remember this because this was when I had no idea what I was doing. I was all over the place. And we're at this bar. I think it was like Losers in Midtown, like pretty much story of my life. But I'm there and I'm just so happy. Who even knows what was happening that night? Because of course I'm still in that era, like, and I still am bringing that hair of like everything's always working out for me. It's so fun. So I'm dancing. I'm whatever. I'm just having a great time. And like someone was talking to one of my friends, and he like stops me and he was like, I don't know if they have these companies, but I feel like you should just like be hired to like go to events or parties and like get the energy up and have people like happy and smiling because I feel like you came in and the whole energy shifted in this room. And now it's like people are like smiling and laughing and dance. It just seemed like it was this shift. And I thought, wow, and of course at this time I'm probably like 3 or 4 tequila shots in, just like, oh, thanks, la, 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 whatever, you know. But like, I remembered it because I was like, that's just like a wild thought. Like, are there those companies? Like, is that's what I should do? Because this is like during my sabbatical, so I'm just like all over the place, like $1 million ideas are everywhere. And I feel like it was just like when I thought about it afterwards, and this is really even before I got into like a lot of like my deep dives and inner work and really understanding like how your energy shifts rooms and things like that, because it's very true. And I know we can all think of a time where whether it was good energy or bad energy, where you're in a room and someone comes in and there's a shift, right? It's either, oh my gosh, now it's light, it's fun, like, oh my God, thank God that person arrived. So this tension broke and now it feels peaceful. Or the other way, where you're like, we're all having a good time, someone's energy shows up and we're all like, well, about time to leave, like, eh. And so if you don't think energy is a real thing, you know those things are real. You know that happens when those things shift. And it's because so much of life is communication through energy, crazily enough. Think about it. No one has to say a word in those moments. Someone shows up and then suddenly the energy shifts, and either you're so happy that it did, or you're like, get me out of here. And it's like an unexplainable, and you can just look at someone. You don't even have to like say a word. You're just like, let's go. Or you're like, thank God. Or you're like, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. And so, gosh, I feel like I hope you're feeling like pumped, like, oh yeah, energy is really a thing. Because when you realize what a superpower it is in that way, like when you come into a room, and I'm all over the place, but I feel like we're on a good topic here. So bear with me, okay? But when you come into a room and you're like down for the day, right? You like walk and you're like, you feel like the whole day was awful. You sit down at a bar stool. We'll just paint the picture. And you're like, meh, and then maybe your buddy comes, your friend, sits down, and you're just like, nah, I'm bummed. And if they're bummed too, you guys are both just like, meh, yeah, screw this day, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like this low energy vibe. Now picture this. Enter the third friend. And she comes rolling in, he comes rolling in, whatever. Cloud 9. Best day ever. Sits down, flops out. Hey guys, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh, today was amazing. How was your day? Blah, blah. And then suddenly you have two choices at that point as I had the worst day ever friend. You can either be like annoyed AF that person had a great day and your day sucked, and like, okay, this person, of course they had a great day, blah blah blah, like annoyed and just like, sure, sure, and it doesn't raise your energy, you're just like, whatever. Or you could be like, good for them, I think I'm ready for a good day, I think I'm going to leave this one behind me, and it's going to be a good day tomorrow. I'm just gonna let this be, leave this here, and have a good night with my friend that's happy about their day. And then we're just gonna lean into their vibe and let go of mine. And I feel like that obviously is easier said than done. But doesn't it feel better to be that one where you're like, oh my God, let's go. So you can either stay on your vibration or you can try to be on theirs. So try to be on theirs. The good one. The good one is all I'm saying. And I don't mean every moment is just like all of that. But again, it's kind of like painting the picture. Like that's your choice. Okay. So now you're like every moment you're like, okay, am I going to keep painting this horrible day I had? Is that what I want to paint? Or am I like going to just be like, all right, let's just erase that, not really vibing it, and we're just going to paint it better tomorrow. How about that? How about that? Oh, so okay, we'll wrap it up and in a neat little canvas to say that every day is a chance to paint the life you want to see. Every single moment is a chance to just not focus on staring at a painting that you didn't even like to paint. You didn't want it. It wasn't for you. Like, that's already happened. A new painting can come. Maybe you painted an old one. Maybe it was with your ex. Maybe it was with when you had a life you no longer want. Maybe it was before you knew who you were. Maybe it was before you decided you didn't want to be that person anymore. Throw that painting out. Let's get rid of it. Well, donate it to Goodwill if someone might want it. I mean, and get out a new canvas and let's paint. Let's figure out what makes you feel good. Because honestly, I feel like switching up my whole life and moving allowed me to do just that. It is hard to paint a new canvas with the view from the past. And I'm not saying you have to move to paint a new canvas, but you might have to let go of some things you've been holding on to. Some things you've painted that you thought had to be there forever, but they don't. They don't. They don't. Okay. So I'm excited for you to remember and be reminded, and truly be reminded, that you can paint a new you, a new life that you want to see any day of the week. Doesn't take the new year, doesn't take your birthday, doesn't take a special day. It could literally be when you're sick of staring at the painting that you refuse to take down off the wall, even though every time you look at it, it makes you feel miserable. Don't do that to yourself. Take the painting down and paint a new one. All right. I want to thank you guys again for listening. I have so many exciting things coming. It's going to be a year for my podcast, which is crazy to think about what a journey it's been. And I have a special treat coming and a lot. And I will be sharing something with you. So please check out my website, wanderingthewildmess.com. There's going to be some exciting news there soon. So I'll keep you posted. If you follow along, of course, maybe give this podcast a rating. It would mean the absolute world to me. That's all I could ask for you. I'd love to hear what you think and your thoughts. And I really want to help you paint the life you want to see every day. So, more on this. Thanks for listening to Wandering the Wild Mess with Heather Morgan. You matter.